Welcome, Counselor Henry.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It is now 6:30, Monday, February 8th. Welcome to our Sunnyside City Council regular meeting for February 8th. This City Council meeting is being held via Zoom, an online conferencing application, and available to the public at any time. All City Council members and city staff are participating from remote locations, and the meeting will continue as long as there is a quorum. Please allow one person to speak at a time. I will call on each and every member to make sure you have had an opportunity to ask questions. I will now ask our City Clerk Renteria to start a roll call, please.
Mayor Guerrero,
Here.
Counselor Farmer,
Here.
Counselor Henry,
Here.
Counselor Restucci,
Here.
Counselor Hicks,
Here.
Counselor Broersma,
Here.
City Manager Casey,
Here.
City Clerk Renteria, I am here. Finance Director Alba,
Here.
Fire Chief Anderson,
I'm here.
Police Chief Escalera,
Here.
Public Works Director Fisher.
I'm here.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. And Mr. Casey, did we have any public comments come in?
Mr. Mayor, no, we did not, but we did want to suggest taking this opportunity to remind listeners or those who may listen to the recording after this that the public is invited to submit via the comments at sunnyside-wa.gov email address a request to sign up to submit or provide public comment. We are set up to be able to allow that during these Zoom meetings, and we certainly want to encourage the public to do so. They can either sign up to for a speaking slot, or if they wish to submit their comments in writing, they're welcome to do that as well. We just wanted to make sure that folks were aware that that option is out there.
Thank you, Mr. Casey. Okay, now we'll move on to our consent agenda, which consists of the minutes for the January 11th, 2021 regular meeting, approval of the minutes for the January 25th, 2021 regular meeting, approve payroll vouchers numbers 118869 through 118873, and wire transfers as listed for $653,738.05 for the period ending on January 25th, 2021. Claim vouchers numbers 100647 through 100687, and wire transfers as listed for $140,635.06 for the period ending on January 27th, 2021. Approve claim vouchers numbers 100688 through 100716, and wire transfers as listed for $33,253.71 for the period ending on February 3rd, 2021. Council members, does anyone wish to pull an item or have questions on the consent agenda? Okay, hearing none. What is the desire of council on the consent agenda?
I would move to approve. This is Henry.
This is Councilor Restucci. I'll second.
Okay, motion by Councilor Henry, second by Councilor Restucci to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any debate on this item? Hearing no debate, Madam City Clerk, can you please do a roll call?
Counselor Boersma, can you hear me? Counselor Boersma?
It looks like he's still muted.
Oh, okay.
Just come back to him if anything.
Okay, we can do that. Counselor Henry?
Yes.
Oh, I think we can hear you. Counselor Henry?
Yes.
Counselor Restucci?
Yes.
Counselor Farmer?
Yes.
Counselor Hicks?
Yes.
Mayor Guerrero?
Yes.
And Counselor Boersma?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. Mayor, you have 6 yes votes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Move on to our active agenda, which is going to be Ron Stremler resolution. Consider approving a resolution recognizing that and thanking Ron Stremler for his years of service to the city of Sunnyside upon his resignation and retirement from the Sunnyside City Council. I'm not sure if anybody got a chance to read this, but I'll just go through the whereas quickly that we could get an idea what it is in case you haven't had a chance to read it. So a resolution of the City Council of the City of Sunnyside, Washington, recognizing and thanking Ron Stremler for his years of service to the Sunnyside City of Sunnyside. Whereas Ron Stremler owned and operated Sun Valley Electric in Sunnyside for 30 years and served as Sunnyside Reserve Police Officer from 1990 to 1994. And whereas Ron Stremler was appointed to the Sunnyside City Council on February 27, 2017 to complete an unexpired term and was then elected to a full term with nearly 60% of the vote on November 7, 2017. And whereas Ron Stremler actively served as a chair of Council's Public Safety Subcommittee, as a member of Council's Rules Subcommittee, as Council's representative to Sunnyside Unidos, and was elected by Council to serve as 2020-2021 Deputy Mayor. And whereas on February 4th, 2021, Ron Stremler retired from Council after demonstrating great devotion and leadership to Sunnyside throughout his years of business and public service. Whereas the City of Sunnyside desires to express its appreciation to Ron Stremler for his years of service to the Sunnyside City Council and the City of Sunnyside. It is hereby resolved by the City Council of the City of Sunnyside, Washington, as follows. Section 1, that the City of Sunnyside and the City Council hereby acknowledges the many accomplishments and contributions of Ron Stremler to the City of Sunnyside and are thankful for his years of service to the community. And Section 2, that this resolution shall be appropriately published and recorded in the records for the City of Sunnyside. And Council, any questions or comments on this resolution?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
just want to echo the sentiments of your resolution. I enjoyed working with Deputy Mayor Stremler. Although we didn't see eye to eye on all things, I appreciated his opinion, just like I appreciate all the members of council's opinion. And it was fun to work with him. So I wish him the best of luck on his move.
Thank you. Council members, anyone else want to say anything on this agenda item?
This is Councilman Farmer. He'll be hard to replace. He was a good man and appreciated working with him.
Thank you. Council members, anyone else or?
Mr. Mayor, if I might, I just wanted to call council's attention to the information on the screen. The city clerk was able to also get a plaque made honoring Deputy Mayor Stremler, and She is showing that up on the screen at this time, so that will be able to accompany the resolution when it's time, when we have the opportunity to present that to him.
Yes. Thank you for doing that. I think he'll really appreciate that. And obviously, yeah, he was really dedicated to the city. And I think when he handed it his resignation letter, he was very emotional, knowing that he was a good part of council. And like Deputy Councilor Restucci said, yes, we didn't always meet eye to eye, but we respect each other's opinions. And that's why we're stronger for it, because we all have different perspectives on things, and we come to a mostly an agreement, and we are able to move forward and make things happen. So yes, I appreciate all the time and effort that Deputy Mayor Stremler put into this city and the dedication. Just a point of clarification, the newspaper today, there was an article saying that Deputy Mayor Ron Stremler abruptly resigns, and as we all know, that wasn't the case. He didn't abruptly resign. He was thinking about this for a little while. He was having some health issues, and that really kind of was actively helping him find a location he wanted to retire to. And we are definitely going to miss him. But I just want to clarify that the Daily Sun title of the article wasn't quite accurate. So I wanted to clarify that for the audience who might listen to this later, and council members as well. All right, council, any additional questions or comments on this item? Okay, what is the desire of council?
Move to approve. This is Jim Restucci.
I'll second. This is
Okay, so motion by Councilor Restucci, second by Councilor Hicks, to approve a resolution recognizing and thanking Ron Strummer for his years of service to the city of Sunnyside upon his resignation and retirement from the Sunnyside City Council. Is there any debate on this item? Hearing no debate, Madam City Clerk, will you do a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Henry,
yes.
Mayor Guerrero,
Yes.
Counselor Farmer,
Yes.
Counselor Broersma,
Yes.
Counselor Hicks,
Yes.
Counselor Restucci.
Yes.
Mayor, you have 6 yes votes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Okay, and we'll definitely present this to Deputy Mayor Strummer as soon as we have an opportunity. So thank you, the City Manager and Jackie, for putting this plaque together for him. Up next, we have a selection of Deputy Mayors. So based on the rules that we have, we will be selecting the Deputy Mayor from our ranks. So we'll go ahead and receive nominations for a Deputy Mayor.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
this is Councilor Restucci. I nominate Dean Broersma for Deputy Mayor.
Thank you.
I'll second that. Counselor Farmer.
Okay, is there any other nominations for Deputy Mayor? Okay, hearing no other nominations, the nominations are now closed. And Madam City Clerk, could you please do a roll call vote on this nomination?
Counselor Broersma,
Yes.
Counselor Farmer,
Yes.
Counselor Hicks,
Yes.
Mayor Guerrero,
Yes.
Counselor Restucci,
Yes.
Counselor Henry.
Yes.
Mayor, you have 6 yes votes.
All right, congratulations, Deputy Mayor Broersma. It's gonna be hard for me to get back to that one. I'm so used to saying Stremler all the time. So Deputy Mayor Broersma, congratulations.
Thank you, sir, and I trust that you will get my name straight eventually.
I will definitely try every time. All right. So that was an easy one. So up next is going to be a little bit more challenging. We're going to be covering our item C in the agenda, City Council vacancy discussion, filling the City Council vacancy. So the process, Jack, can you give us a little bit, or my City Manager, I'm not sure who has more knowledge on this. Can you give us a brief overview of what the process is going to look like for filling this vacancy?
I can provide just a quick summary. As council is aware, former council member and Deputy Mayor Stremler represented one of the district seats on the city council. So there is a geographic district that is set out primarily along the east side of Sunnyside. So any candidate or applicant to fill the seat must come from the same district that Mr. Stremler represented. Council in the past has generally followed a process whereby an application period would be opened. Applications would be then received from interested parties here in the community in the appropriate district. And then after closing that time period, which it's kind of at council's discretion how they want to set that, council would enter into deliberations, potentially interviews, and evaluate the various applicants. Under the law, any decisions on appointment must be made in open public meeting, but the interviews, I believe, can take place in executive session. It's, again, I think council's discretion on that point of it. With that, I would certainly defer to the clerk or others from city staff who've had more experience or are familiar with that process here in the past. Oh, and for council's awareness, thank you, Jackie. The clerk has just put up the map on the screen of the precinct. This is District 3, which, as I mentioned, is kind of the east side of downtown and includes basically from 9th Street east to the Yakima Valley Highway, and from roughly Yakima Valley Highway at the north boundary and East Lincoln on the south boundary.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
if I might, having done this many, many times before, I think tonight we should just really set like a 30-day application period and have all applicants send their resumes and cover letters to the city clerk. And then we could come together in a special meeting once those are all in and whittle them down, just like we do with the city manager, before we start interview process, which would probably be like the top 4, top 5.
Makes sense. I think we're going to do I think we have 90 days to fill this vacancy from this information Jackie sent me over earlier. So we're going to leave the application process open for 45 days, hoping we get a few applicants. And that way, I'm not sure how many people are going to be knocking down our doors to try to get on council, but hopefully we have a few applicants who are interested from that district and give us a better pool of individuals to try to get somebody who might, have a good diversity in our team and be able to contribute different aspects of their experience. So we'll leave it up for 45 days, and once that closes, we'll go ahead and move on to the next steps, which is going to be obviously trying to decide which ones we're going to interview as far as the applicants, and then make a decision eventually at that stage. So, Jackie, Mr. City Manager, if we could get that kind of set out and published somewhere that we can make sure that we have good exposure and hopefully some individuals from our District 3 interested in that position that's open.
Okay, we'll get it published in the Sunnyside Sun February 10th, 17th, and 24th. And it'll run on our website from tomorrow through March 19th at 4.
Can we also do that on our Facebook page to see if some people might know someone who might live in that district might be interested already?
Yes, we'll post it on Facebook too then.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, one point of clarification I should have mentioned too. This will be an appointment to fill out the unexpired portion of former council member Stremler's term. This was one of the seats that would have been up for election in this November election cycle. And so whoever applies and is selected would be filling out the remainder of that term, and then could either opt to stand for re-election for a full term or not, depending on how they want to approach it. But I did want to clarify the length of time that that the term would be for this appointment.
Thank you. That definitely helps. That way, people who are interested, they would know how long they would have to kind of put a plan together to run for re-election, if anything.
Mr.
All right,
Mayor,
so I think we have yeah. Did somebody say something?
yeah, this is Councilor Farmer.
Yes, sir.
Would it be possible to include that somehow in the monthly utility bill?
We have done, that's certainly a very good suggestion. We have sent flyers and information out as part of our utility statements. Finance just coordinates that with our billing services. I believe it's the cost to the city is nominal. I think it's under like $800. So we'd be happy to put together kind of a posting, a little information, maybe, you know, kind of the facts about the council and the district, and work on that and try to get that out. If I might ask the finance clerk to clarify our next billing cycle, when is the next mailing set to go out?
The last day of February, so that would be, I'd have to look on a calendar.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
Oh, I've got it.
I would
Looks
go
like
out
it'd be
the 26th.
26th of February. Would that work for council? That's kind of towards the end of your application window.
I think the cutoff is March 19th, if not I'm mistaken, the 45-day mark. So I think it would
Okay.
give us about maybe 20 days or so. That's when the water bill is almost due. So I think we should be in good standing for that insert if council agrees.
And that cost would all be out of the general fund, just to clarify. So, and it is generally about $800 to do an insert in the utility bill.
Mr. Casey, is that something that the general fund can afford as far as an expense that we didn't budget for?
I believe so. We'll take a double check just to make sure, but I think we're in good shape at this time.
Okay. All right, council. So if the budget can afford to have the insert, is everyone in agreement that we do that for the mailer insert for next month? Okay, you have no objection, so ordered. All right, Mr. Casey, so we'll look at that, see what can be done, okay?
Okay.
All right, up next, we have our CGI banner program, receive a presentation on CGI's decorative banner program for communities. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm very excited to kind of bring this opportunity to council's attention. I want to say it was in early January when CGI reached out to myself and to Public Works Director Shane Fisher to discuss with us kind of a sequel to a program that the city conducted successfully in 2018 under former city manager Don Day. At that time, CGI Communications, they specialize in working with promotion and civic education and outreach and marketing strategies for local governments. They had approached the city about doing a series of promotional videos that would draw people both potentially as tourism and also potentially as residents to the city. These video tours of Sunnyside were developed and worked on by staff with some staff support. I know City Clerk Renteria had some involvement in helping coordinate that with Dawn. And they then work with local organizations to essentially and local businesses to obtain sponsorships and sales. There was no cost to the city involved in the video production. And those turned out pretty well. And we've had those up on our website now for a couple of years. So post-COVID, they know that many communities are anxious to try and re-energize community spirit, re-energize economic activity, kind of come out of the shadow of COVID a bit. And so they've approached us with this idea for doing a similar banner program. Their program would design and fabricate and install and provide all of the equipment, the mounting brackets and so forth, to install decorative vinyl banners on city street poles. Jackie just moved forward to perfect. There we go. This is, we're showing some examples of some of the banner sizes. Typically for city and configuration of ours, they're probably looking at either the 18 by 36 inch or 24 by 48. But the program is set up so that, again, there is no upfront cost to the city. They would handle the installation, they handle the maintenance, and they insure the banners. They provide all the brackets and hardware, and they commit that under our agreement with them, even if no local businesses choose to opt into the sponsorship program and purchase a place for their logos to go on these banners, even if no business participates, CGI will commit to delivering at least a fixed order of 25 banners to the city using the artwork and images and city logo that we provide. So we do get something from it, even if they don't obtain any sponsors from it. Jackie, if you'll maybe advance another slide. They've provided a number of examples, and I won't go through all of these slides with you, but just there's a wide variety of approaches that different cities have taken. Typically, there's a component where city logo is fairly prominent, some imagery or artwork that is reflective of that city and its setting, either scenic artwork or scenic images, local artwork. We have already some great examples here between murals and statues and other public art. Great photos of events like Cinco de Mayo and the Lighted Farm Implement Parade. We have a real treasure trove of potential imagery that we could provide to this. And then down at the bottom, there's space for local businesses and organizations to purchase and have their logo on them. In addition, I took note of the fact that to support the city and kind of civic commitment, they also provide 3 banners with the logos for our police, fire, and city hall. And they looked at an overall timeline of if we move forward here fairly quickly in February, they need about 2 to 4 weeks to get kind of the introduction out into the community, begin marketing it. They do ask the city to provide an introductory letter on city letterhead for them for their use. But then they seek sponsorships. They then start building the banners themselves, and then aim to get them installed. Conservatively, if all goes well, it's possible they could even have them delivered and installed in time for the beginning of May, which we thought would dovetail really wonderfully with the possible resumption of Cinco de Mayo celebrations, assuming we're at a point in the pandemic where mass events like that are being allowed again. But kind of have a big banner bloom right at the start of the summer tourism season. The timing would be very nice. So as I mentioned, this was a project that we partnered with these folks once before successfully. Thought this might be a nice gift back to the community at a time when we're kind of looking for ways to celebrate Sunnyside and attract attention and go forward. And I'd certainly invite either Shane or Jackie, if you have any observations from your work with this group before or their proposal. Any of the 3 of us are happy to answer any of council's questions.
Thank you for that. And we'll go down the list and see if any comments or questions on this and see what questions we get. Councilor Farmer?
I really see no problem with it. I do know from the last time, sponsorships were quite expensive. I don't know what they will be this time. Also, how long will the banners be up? Or are they going to take them down every year and put them up every year and add to it? What kind of a program do we have there?
Okay, so I think, Jackie, if you can go back up to slide, that's actually right, there you go, right there. So this is a 3-year program. They will refresh the banners annually. So we'll get a new fresh set updated each of the 3 years of the program. And any of the business owners or organizations that do sponsor a banner, they get to keep the previous year's banner. Some businesses like to kind of hang them on their wall. I think that's the next slide, shows a business that has been in a community that's been doing, there you go. that's been doing this in that community for several years. So yes, it's a 3-year program to start. I suppose we could continue it if we chose to, but it is designed at least as a 3-year run, and they will provide new banners each year.
And then also, what would we do with the banners we already have?
We do have a number of banners, primarily, Shane, can you speak to about how many we have? And because we partner, I think, with the schools on some banners that they provide around like graduation and spirit events.
Yeah, that's correct. We have some from the school and that's only been the last couple of years. And then we've probably got about 50 banners that we have throughout that have some of the seasonal. We have some for fall banners, 4th of July. I think we do have a few Cinco ones that we bought a few years back. So we'll continue. I mean, these are 25 banners they'll give us, but that's not, we have a lot more poles than we have banners. So the banners we kind of talked about in some of the areas downtown or around kind of our, like maybe around the museum or around the statues, that are more themed towards that type of thing, or like Cinco de Mayo, we would put up obviously during those festivals. And then when those festivals are over, then we would move and put new banners up kind of as the season progresses. And we would continue to change those banners out throughout the year.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Yep. Councilor Hicks.
Yeah, the explanation answered my questions.
Thank you. Councilor Restucci.
No questions, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Henry.
No questions for me either, sir.
Deputy Mayor Broersma.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. So I think we need to take a long view on this one, and eventually the restrictions that we're under are going to begin to lift and hopefully be lifted entirely. We need to think ahead. People are going to be anxious to participate in events, and we need to make them aware of those events. So I'm in favor of this.
Thank you. And I got a chance to review this beforehand. So yeah, I think it's a great program, and I do believe we'll get some buy-in from businesses. And I do agree with Councilor Farmer. The last video promo was a little spendy. I'm sure, I'm thinking hopefully the bans will be more affordable for businesses to try to get their name out and be able to get some exposure. So yeah, I'm in favor of this as well. So sounds like the overall picture, Mr. Casey, is for you to move forward, and then hopefully we get some buy-in from businesses. And if not, at least we'll get 25 banners that we can put up throughout the city.
Thank you very much. Appreciate council's feedback. Thank you.
Okay, up next in our agenda, we have items from council members, mayor's appointments for boards and commissions. I don't believe we have any vacancies that I'm aware of. City Clerk, do you know if you have any vacancies in any of the boards or commissions?
We have the is it community and no, it's not the community.
Community
The economic development committee that doesn't have any members and no council members appointed to it. So I did talk to Mr. Casey that maybe that would be a good item to discuss on March 1st for the workshop, and see what plan council wants to go with. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we got it to the agenda for the workshop. We could definitely bring as a discussion item, maybe see what council member wants to take on that committee, and then try to get some community members to be part of that committee. So if we could add that to the workshop, be perfect. I think, Mr. Casey.
Thank you. This was a commission that council had specified membership from various sectors of the community, economic, business, nonprofit. And so pulling together the membership is going to require a bit more outreach and engagement to bring that mix of candidates forward for appointments. So we thought that'd be a good conversation to have with council about, suggestions that folks may have on how best to approach that and hopefully get that up and running. As Deputy Mayor Broersma mentioned a moment ago, try to sync this up with our emergence from COVID and our efforts to revitalize community activities and economic development.
Okay, thank you. Up next, we have our council request status report. Mr. Casey.
Okay. All right, as council's aware, on the disabled parking area, we are taking a look at options on this. We had been hopeful that we learned of a new funding source earlier in January that was being released related to grant funding for certain pedestrian safety. But unfortunately, they have to be in the street right of way, which the disabled parking at the senior center, the improvements that we want to make there for the sidewalk and accessibility ramp are within the parcel. They're not in the right of way, so it wasn't eligible. But we're continuing to look at that, and then of course working then to try to get it into potentially funded once we get the comp plan updated. So that's kind of our backup strategy. We know that's going to take a longer time, and we're continuing to evaluate opportunities for grant funding or other funding sources that might come up more quickly. On tree replacement, as Director Fisher has reported in the past, we're kind of awaiting the spring to begin working on and bring back to council kind of a tree plan proposal for replacement of trees downtown. In the meantime, Public Works has been doing some maintenance over the winter to get the tree wells prepared so that we're ready to go when we have planting options ready. We'll go on to guardrails. Shane, I don't think there's any updates on this one since council's last report.
No update, but we did receive a task order or a quote to get the safety plan done. I know we talked about that. It was like a middle December meeting about the safety plan. So spoke with the city clerk this morning. We added that to the February 22nd agenda to bring the safety plan before council to approve that task order so we can get that plan going. It'll be HLA will conduct it for us. Shouldn't take more than, I think it said 30 to 45 days to get it done. So we'll bring that before council at next meeting and then get the ball rolling on that so we can get funded for some of these guardrails.
Okay. Let's see. Next, council's aware of some recent discussion around action steps on homelessness. Code enforcement, of course, is continuing to monitor the homeless individuals in our city parking lot, and police have continued their patrols in the area. We are working with our attorneys on steps to apply our vehicle and nuisance ordinances in accordance with recent case law and state statutes. It does take some time to map out those steps and comply with all of the layers of statutory, judicial, and administrative code requirements, but we will be proceeding with actions this month to seek to have the vehicles removed lawfully, subject to proper notice and due process requirements. Police are also in contact with state transportation officials about some recent reports we've received regarding homeless activity in some dense vegetation along Interstate 82 in state DOT right-of-way near exit 67. And so we're following up on that, and we will keep council apprised of these various efforts. And then lastly, we have fire department residency program. Actually, Chief Anderson, we were just putting the finishing touches on your monthly report for for January. Sorry, I was looking at May on the calendar there. And so you'll be getting a report from the chief on this in the January monthly report. We are trying to move forward with this. We have run into a couple of issues that he describes in the report related to the construction process. There is a wall that was not in the architect's plans that we're having to deal with, but we're pushing forward with that, and you'll see that update. Certainly, we're happy to answer any questions if you have in the meantime. And then I'll invite happy to invite Director Alba back to the conversation to be able to speak a little bit to the questions that had come up about credit card transaction fees. And we're working on getting that breakdown ready to transmit to council, but just wanted to give her a moment to kind of update that on what we've been looking at.
Okay, so I've transmitted a memo to City Manager Casey. Sorry, I'm still trying to get my head together. So I wanted to just clarify a few things. And in this memo, I kind of outline how our credit card fees work. So there's 3 vendors involved with the process. So there's the payment actually starts at our payment gateway service provider, which is Express Bill Pay. And then it's routed to our merchant services provider, which is Chase Bank, where then it was transferred to our checking account at US Bank. So I did an analysis of the charges for all 3 of these bills or these vendors. And so Express Bill Pay is more than just our payment gateway. They also do fees like toll-free operated assistance transactions, IVR payments, account maintenance. There's a hosting fee, but I actually only looked at the actual credit card portion of the bill, and I've summarized that in a table. And for the year of December 2020 through January, January through December, we were charged $9,816.02. And then the next one would be Chase Bank. And I'm trying to go in the order of how, if you're making a payment, it would go through and come to the city. So we have 2 different accounts and 2 different rates. So one rate is for utility bills and the other rate is for all governmental services. And I've basically put those together in a chart as well. And the one thing that I did, I looked at the amount that was collected and the fee, and then I did a percentage of that. So you could see kind of how much it costs. The utility rate is much less because it's an enterprise type of business. It's considered for profit, so we get a better rate. And so the entire amount that we were charged for credit card fees through Chase was $25,270.69. Of that, we collected basically $2.7 million. So we've got a lot of money that's coming in through that form of payment. The last one that I analyzed is I went through our US bank fees. And because we have so many ACH transactions, I just really tried to break it down as easy as I could. The cost for each ACH item is 21 cents. And we generally receive 1 deposit per day for government services and 1 every other day for utilities. And so if we received 45 items a month, the cost would be $9.45. And then just so you would maybe kind of understand the fee structure, if we receive an actual physical check from a customer, we actually are charged 15 cents per check. And we average at about 1,100 checks deposited per month, which costs $165. And I didn't put staff time at all in that play. When we handle a check, there are more people involved. There's a frontline cashier. There is a person that balances and reconciles their cash drawer. And then there's somebody that also balances and reconciles the entire deposit. And that person has to go to the bank. So that's not included in that 15 cents per check. So the cost of ACH is actually less in some ways because we don't handle the transaction very much. It's very limited on what we have to do. And did anyone have any questions?
And I just to follow up, yes, thank you. Elizabeth just had gotten me that memo at the end of last week. I had a chance to start reviewing it. It is very complete, and I appreciate her quick turnaround on that upon her return. And we'll be attaching that with your weekly brief this Friday so that all of council has it. And you can look at the information in more detail. And then, as she said, we're be happy to follow up if council members have any questions after reviewing the memo. And
Is that the last item on the council request status report, Mr.
Yes.
Casey?
I believe, yes, that's the last item currently on the report.
Okay, councilors, if you want to add anything else, please let us know. We'll get it on the council request status report. Up next, we have other reports, announcements, and or questions by council. And we'll go down the list and see if there's any questions or comments. If there's any questions, announcements, or reports. Councilor Restucci.
No items, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Henry.
No items for me either, sir.
Deputy Mayor Broersma.
I have nothing, sir.
Thank you. Councilor Farmer.
I have nothing.
Councilor Hicks.
I have nothing.
Okay, and myself, the next couple of days, the next few days was it, we'll be doing the AWC City Action Days. So City Manager myself will be attending that virtually. So when we get done, we'll come back and give you guys a report of what happened. And besides that, we got a standing meeting tomorrow, Wednesday with YB-COG. Not tomorrow, Wednesday with YB-COG, and we'll see what that one's going to look like. But besides that, nothing else to report from my end. So the next item on our agenda is going to be upcoming council meetings. Mr. City Manager.
All right, thank you. Give the city clerk a moment to bring, she's way ahead of me. She's already got it up there. Thank you. So coming up on February 22nd, our next regular meeting, we have a mix of discussion items and action items. We talked about before that Chief Escalera and Public Schools Superintendent Kevin McKay are planning to present a request to renew our contract for gang prevention and intervention services with the Sunnyside School District. We are also currently working with with the port on a hangar lease agreement for the project out at the municipal airport. We're anticipating an extension of some kind on the COVID-19 emergency declaration. I'll be working on that probably more next week. I kind of want to see what change, if any, the state makes in the reopening phases over the next week or so to calibrate our extension to what I'm hoping will be progress in reopening. Then we have or we may, depending on the order of this, we may do the safety plan task order that Shane mentioned. We may add that to move that up next on the agenda, and then close with a discussion around Catholic Charities. This is the lift station and upsizing. We are trying to take a systemic view of this and make sure that we're considering all the parts in the system in evaluating the opportunity for improving our sewer lift station infrastructure. We have, each station we have to look both upstream and downstream to make sure that we're optimizing the system. So it's a complex set of variables and calculations, but we are making progress on that. We are also looking, we've got a couple of future items that may get scheduled either in February or early March. We need to update and renew our agreement for court security services. And so that's with Phoenix Security. And so if we've got that ready, we may try to bring that on to your February 22nd agenda as well. For March 1st, we're looking at a couple of thoughts. We just mentioned the Community and Economic Development Commission. Director Alba and I have also been kind of looking at our budget year to date, how 2021 is shaping up, and both expenditures, revenues, but also some emergent needs that we're seeing that we may want to kind of queue up a mini budget workshop, if you will, kind of prior to the first quarter budget amendment to go a little more in depth with council on how the year is starting to take shape now that we'll have a couple of months under our belts. So that's something that we're considering bringing forward on March 1st. We'll be able to give you a more definitive picture of that at your February 22nd meeting, if that's going to come together for March, or whether it'll be better to do in April. In March, we also will have contract amendment related to target solutions for the fire department. This is an existing agreement that is our main tool for training that is used extensively by fire department personnel. They also recently acquired the software that we use or have been using on a trial basis for timekeeping and scheduling in the fire department. And so now that both companies are under the same entity, merging that contract and so forth takes it over the threshold and will require council action on that amendment for that contract. So we're planning to bring that forward at that time, and then hopefully at that time be ready to also bring you the lift stations project agreements ready for action. So it's getting to be a busy start to the year, a lot of activity going on. And we're going to be filling up these meetings pretty quickly.
Thank you, Mr. Casey. Up next, we have items from city manager and department heads.
All right. So I'll focus on just a couple of items tonight. I'll give kind of our general COVID-19 updates. As of this evening, Yakima County has reached 26,567 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Total deaths in the county over the past 2 weeks have risen by 22 to a total of 364. And at this time, about just over 32 residents are currently reported hospitalized. Under the state's roadmap to recovery that I mentioned a moment ago, we are expecting the State Department of Health to review our region's metrics and announce any updates on status by this Friday. So our next opportunity to potentially advance to phase 2 is this Friday, and that would take effect, if approved, would take effect on Monday, the 15th of February. Now, the 15th also is the President's Day holiday. So some of our adjustments, if we do get to go to phase 2, some of our adjustments at the city might be delayed a little bit as we come back from the holiday weekend. In order to advance to phase 2, our region must meet targets on trends in new cases, trends in hospitalizations, average ICU occupancy, and the percent of positive COVID-19 tests. So we're expecting hopefully some positive news this week, and we'll keep you posted as we get that information. I also wanted to update council that I had reported previously of how the State Department of Commerce had notified cities at the end of December that the CARES Act program for local government COVID-19 expense reimbursements wasn't going to be extended. And I had sought some more information on that, and I wanted to share both with council and members of the public that we got some good information back from the Association of Washington Cities on why the state wasn't able to go forward with that. Part of that was tied to the fact that the federal government didn't actually vote or act to extend the date of CARES funds until the very end of December, which was well after the contract deadlines that were in place between the state and the various cities and counties. That pretty much tied the state's hands on it. But I did want to share that I also learned that nearly 97%, 97, of the $423 million in CARES funds that were allocated to local governments were successfully distributed statewide before the state had to end the program. So 97% distribution rate is pretty phenomenal. And it does speak well to how cities and counties worked hard in 2020 to identify opportunities to leverage those dollars, and whether it was for their own expenses or through the many programs to get dollars in the hands of our small businesses that were affected by COVID-19. That clearly made an impact. I also want to remind residents in the area that the Yakima Health District and Comprehensive Health Services are still operating the free community testing site at our community center in South Hill Park. It can serve up to 300 persons a day and operates Sundays through Thursdays. There is no charge for the test. You don't need insurance or documentation. Anyone can seek a test at this site, whether you have symptoms or not, and results are generally available in about 2 or 3 days. And then the other item I wanted to bring up regards the city's Civil Service Commission. I held interviews last week with applicants for our Civil Service Commission vacancy. This is the body charged with responsibilities around police and fire civil service, with certifying and ensuring that there's fair and equitable hiring processes, that these are done accurately and objectively. They certify the lists of applicants and so forth, so they play a critical role in our public safety agencies. Pursuant to Sunnyside Municipal Code, chapters 2.28 and 2.20, I, as city manager, make the appointments to this commission. The applicants this time brought strong backgrounds in public service and experience serving on boards and committees. And after considering their qualifications, I'm pleased to announce this evening that Wallace Anderson has accepted an appointment to the Civil Service Commission. Wallace is a longtime resident of Sunnyside, graduated from Central Washington University, served in the United States Navy, and retired from the Sunnyside Police Department after many years of service. He also currently serves as a member of the Sunnyside Housing, or excuse me, as a commissioner for the Sunnyside Housing Authority. Wallace will be serving out an unexpired term through October 3rd of 2024. So we very much appreciate his service in the past and his willingness to continue serving the community going forward. And with that, I'll turn it over to department heads to start providing updates. Director Alba, kind of maybe go alphabetically. Anything new to report from finance?
Yes, I wanted to let you know that it is paying off having 2 utility billing clerks. We are finally making some headway on a lot of projects that have been kind of put to the drawer because there wasn't enough time to get those done. We're adding things to basically make it so that the 2 ladies are reporting information in the same manner by creating a utility billing form that's internal to finance, so that when they have a request for an account review, it goes on something, and then the finance supervisor can review it, and they're consistent, and it's the same information from, you know, the same 2 people, and they're consistent. We find that we get a lot of interruptions during the day, and we're trying to kind of weed out the, can I ask you a question really quick at the door while you're in the middle of a bank rack, or working on something that, you know, is tedious. So those are some of the things that we're working on. Also, we're working on making sure that accounts payable has been reviewed. We have some changes that came to the 1099 this last year. And with that, we are having to add some new bars numbers. That's kind of one of the things that we've started ramping up for. We are also starting to work on equipment rental worksheets. Since we haven't ran our equipment rental with actual money allocated for the purchase of vehicles, we want to be ready for that and have depreciation schedules built, and basically get those things kind of going for that fund. We are finalizing the budget for the online dissemination. There is still just a tiny bit of a holdup. We're waiting on signed ordinances from the city attorney. But if those don't come through, we may just put the unsigned ones and then replace it once we get the signed copies. In the area of the city finances, we're doing very, very well. I don't want to say, you know, that I'm still not optimistic. I like to do things in a reserve manner, but I really think that we're heading for a better year. And if we just keep on that slow, even steady, review of things, I think we're going to find that we actually start having some reserves and start building up some of the things we need to do that have been a long time coming. So very happy with all the departments. Do want to let you know that Lander has been moved back to City Hall, and he does have some programming starting. He's looking at some different Zoom and Facebook posts he can do. And then on Friday, he's been approved through the Yakima Health Department to do a drive-through Valentine's popcorn McDonald's giveaway drive. So he has a map. It'll be bagged popcorn and McDonald's coupons for various items. So people in the community can see that we're trying to, gather their spirits and get them in a great mood. And the court is also gearing up for reopening. They are looking at how they can safely conduct in-court meetings. And so they're doing barrier protection, limiting seating, and really trying to figure out how we can make sure that our judge, clerk, attorneys, and defendants are all safe while they do in-person court. And that's all I have.
Good. Continuing alphabetically, let's go to Fire Chief Anderson.
I have nothing new tonight.
Okay.
Kind of right on the heels of my monthly report, so there's really nothing new than yesterday. Sorry.
No, that's fine. All right. See how well I'm doing at alphabetizing. I think next is Chief Escalada.
Good evening, everyone. Just a quick update on the current homicides that we're investigating now. We are making some headway. We are awaiting some results that were a result of some search warrants that were conducted. So just kind of on a holding pattern at the moment. We also, as Ms. Alba mentioned, opening up the court also affects the police department in that sense that we are also discussing how we're going to run the foyer and how those contacts are going to be made, and working out the CPL process for both renewals and brand new applications. So currently, that's what we have going on at the moment.
Chief, could you elaborate a little bit what your department is doing a little bit different as far as trying to obviously minimize additional violence in town?
Well, currently, we have pretty reduced manpower, and we're working very thin. And so, unfortunately, several days out of the week we are in a reactive mode. However, we are beefing up our folks Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We have additional folks that we call in. That staff is assigned to patrol shifts to assist with response, handling calls, and also any proactive work that we can do to minimize potential violent offenders. So, and not to mention the gang meetings that we have started last year are quite fruitful. They have identified some individuals that could be a problem here in the very near future. We've also got some intel reports that we're trading with other departments since we do share that type of clientele. So we're just kind of looking at a gamut of things in order to hope to prevent some issues and some matters before they start.
Thank you.
Director Fisher.
Yeah, I just have one item to report. The Swan Road Water Main Improvement Project, the contractor moved in today. They did some asphalt cutting. Tomorrow morning, they'll have that section of roadway from Riverside, not quite up to Grandview Avenue, closed down while they tear out the asphalt and start installing the new water main. They'll be on the road for about 3-4 days, and then all the other work will take place in the property. Road will still be shut down, but it's about a 15-day contract. But met with the contractors today. They're looking work days to being done in probably 7-8 days, so about half the time. So anyway, that's all I got.
All right. And Clerk Renteria?
I don't have anything.
All right, thank you. Mayor, I believe that's all of the department head reports.
All right, thank you, everyone. So next, we have our adjournment, which is there being no further business to come to council. And without objection, I adjourn this meeting at 7:33 p.m. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.